Late Night Health continues. I'm Mark Alyn along with the insane Daryl Wayne. We're going to spend some time talking with a young woman who about little less than 2 years ago was diagnosed with breast cancer. Her name is Autumn Hewitt. We're going to talk about Autumn's experience, and we'll talk about the More Than Pink Walk coming up on March 9th at Dodger Stadium. Autumn, welcome to Late Night Health.
Thank you so much for having me.
My notes say that you're from Kentucky.
Yes, sir.
So
correct.
can you sound like you're from Kentucky? Because you don't sound like you're from Kentucky.
You don't think? I think my family would disagree. They think, and my friends here definitely think I still sound from Kentucky. But I'll throw out y'all come on down. How about that? Will that work? Y'all come on down.
That will do it. I remember working in Memphis and everybody y'all all the time, right?
Yep.
You had a very unusual Valentine's Day in 2017. Can you
I did.
tell us about it?
I was diagnosed with breast cancer on Valentine's Day 2017. Initially, I should preface that with I'm very blessed. We caught it very early, so my journey, as I like to say, was inconvenient, but it was a piece of cake. So I try not to complain or compare to others, but we caught it early, and I went through had a few surgeries, and as I like to joke and say, I got a new pair for the second half of life. And I've moved on. But I try to encourage and empower other women where and when I can that are going through the same thing.
You have a nickname for your new set of boobs.
I do, and I also have it on my license plate on my car. Since I moved to California many years ago, I joked and said, you can't throw a rock without hitting a woman with a fake pair. And so I dubbed them the California Welcome Package, like it's required that you get those. So when it became clear that I was going to get my own California Welcome Package, my friends that have known me for years and family teased me mercilessly. So now it's on my license plate, California Welcome Package. You'll see me tooling around.
I love that. Let's discuss what went through your mind. You go to the doctor, you have your mammogram, and he says, called you in? And
they called and said, we want to take another look. So I went in not thinking anything really, at that point. I'd never had any issues before, no history in my family. So I really didn't think much. We did another in-depth mammogram. The radiologist read the results and said, I think we're going to want to biopsy that. So I came home that day, got my husband, and again, still not too concerned. And then you wait. You go back, you do the biopsy, and then that's the hardest, is waiting those 7 days to get the results. But
what went through your mind? What were you thinking?
I was thinking, I prayed about it a lot. And I try not to cry when I talk about it because it was it was scary. It was very scary, not knowing. I think the fear of the unknown, and that was what went through my mind the most. What's life going to look like going forward? But I tried not to let my brain, get into overdrive, and I tried to just approach it minute by minute in those early days, for sure.
And when the diagnosis came back?
The diagnosis came back, I immediately, of course, called my mother and the other women in my life, family members that are important to me. And I think that was the hardest thing for me, having to tell my mom. But one of the first things that I said was, I pray that I can handle this with dignity and grace, and that I will accept whatever comes my way. And I tried to make light of it a little bit and have some fun. And I just went through each day with that attitude, that whatever comes, we'll deal with it, and we'll figure it out together as a family.
And do you have children?
I do not.
You don't?
I do not.
Well, you can always adopt Daryl and me.
Got it.
And we have a new mom.
But
mommy's younger than us.
I know, a lot younger than we are. Which is another thing. You are a young woman. How old are you, if I may ask?
Of course. I am currently 52. I'll turn 53 in August.
So you were 50 years old.
I was.
When you were diagnosed. That's so young.
Yeah, I was.
And when you told your family, your husband, what was his reaction?
Well, my husband was actually on the phone with me when we got the diagnosis that morning. So we were expecting the call, and so he was right there on speaker. And I remember me being me, very organized. I had my notepad ready. I was ready to scribble down whatever I needed to scribble. And as soon as the nurse said it did come back, it did test positive for breast cancer, my hand began to shake. And my husband, sorry, I don't want to cry, but my husband took the pen and he wrote down everything that we needed to know. And again, we hung up the phone, we embraced, we said, we got this. We'll figure it out together. So he was a trooper. Between he and my mother, they took great care of me throughout the entire process. You
had 3 surgeries. Did you have chemo as well?
I did not, because they caught it so early and it had not spread beyond the lymph, beyond the breast. I did not have to have chemo or radiation. So I had initially a lumpectomy. It was only on the left side. We thought it was one relatively small tumor. When they got in, they discovered that it was actually 2, and they were both double in size. So they couldn't get it all the first go around. So at that point, I opted for the double mastectomy. I said, let's just call it a day, start fresh, move on. Old ones are gone, going to get some new ones and move forward. So I had the lumpectomy in March. April. I had the double mastectomy in May. And then my goal was always, what is the quickest way to get me to move forward in life? I didn't really care so much about and I know it's different for every woman, how they feel and what they want their chest to look like. For me, I was not that attached to the old boobs, so I didn't really care what the new ones looked like. I just wanted to be alive and move forward. So I opted for, to get the tissue expanders where they pumped me up all summer to make a pocket for the implants. And I had the final surgery in early November of 2017 and got the new package and done. That was it. Thank goodness, I've had no complications, nothing. I'm golden. Golden.
And what about talking to other women about this?
Oh, I'm an open book. So anybody that knows, my husband will tell you that in those early days when I first got the new one, I'm like, want to see? Anybody want to see? Or because I think because it's a big part of what going through the process. For me, I was very vocal. We could be out at one of the wineries and chatting with people like, oh, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. It was just very common. And I know there were times when my husband was like, do we have to lead with that at every conversation? And I'm like, it's a big deal, and I need to talk about it, and I want to make sure that other women, if they're going through it, know someone who is, that they know they have me. I will always listen. They have me to talk to. So for me, it's very important, and I'll give you a quick little story. I went to Kaiser, which is where all my doctors were. They offer a reconstruction class, but that they offer a couple of times throughout the year, and you can go, and they have models that come in, women that are in various stages of the process, that will show you what to expect, what your chest is going to look like if you have this surgery, or it's just very informative. And they pass around big giant implant bags, and it's for women, and it's just a comfort when you're in the midst of it. And here I was sitting behind a young lady who was clearly in the throes of chemo, and I asked a question about the tissue expanders, and when we were finished, she stopped me and she said, "That's what I'm going to have done, but I can't do it until after I finish chemo and radiation." And she was like, "Does it hurt getting pumped? Getting the expanders pumped up?" She was so fearful of that process, and I thought, "Honey, this is nothing. This is nothing compared to what you're going through now." And I was so moved by her that, from that point on, anybody that wants to talk about it, I'm happy to talk about it. Anybody that wants to cry, wants me to listen, happy to do it.
That's terrific. That really is. To me, that's the heart of the Komen Foundation in L.A. County is that the hotline and the one-on-one that they offer to breast cancer survivors and especially those who are going through it at the beginning, because let's face it, the big C is scary. There's just no question about it.
Absolutely. And it's incredible. You don't even know that the support that's out there until you're in the midst of it. And it can be somewhat overwhelming in the beginning because you have all of these resources coming at you. And then when you have a second to step back and go, wow, how lucky we are that we have, Susan G. Komen, your doctors, your team, your family, with so many resources for you as you're moving through whatever your journey may be.
Well, we should mention that you can go to to KomenLACounty.org, KomenLACounty.org, to find out more about the More Than Pink Walk coming up March 9th at Dodger Stadium. That's the More Than Pink Walk, March 9th at Dodger Stadium, KomenLACounty.org. You going to make it this year?
I am. We will be there.
That'll be great. The other thing that Komen does is they do a lot of research. A lot of the money raised goes into research. And they've, I guess, have developed a drug, and you'll be taking that for life?
10 years.
For 10 years.
The year, it's tamoxifen is the name of the drug. And the year that I started it, so in the fall of 2017, when I started on tamoxifen, they changed the protocol. It had been 5 years prior. They've changed it now to 10 years. Because I took nothing other than a one-a-day vitamin before this. I have given my oncologist quite grief. So we're going to renegotiate this conversation in 5 years. Praying that I'm still in good shape at that point. But I've been on it now just right at, it was 2 years, it's a year and a half at this point.
Gotcha. And what about the is it easy? You just take a pill? I don't.
It's a pill. I take it every night before I go to bed, along with my vitamins, and it's easy breezy. My only complaint is it produces some pretty serious hot flashes. And it has made my hair dry. And my doctor told me, you can put oil in your hair. Don't worry about it. Keep taking it. So.
Well, that makes sense. We're going to continue our conversation with Autumn. Autumn Hewitt, a cancer survivor, and we are so happy to have her on our program today. She lives in the Temecula area. And we'll continue our conversation in just a few moments. Join us at LateNightHealth.com. LateNightHealth.com will have more information about KomenLACounty.org. There, a link to the More Than Pink Walk will be there as well. All right, the insane Daryl Wayne and I return along with Autumn as Late Night Health continues. Recently, I met Jacqueline from Bright here in Los Angeles. She gave me a hearing exam and then showed me how to hear again with the new Signia Pure Series hearing aids, and she can give you your life back too. I hear birds chirping, birds cooing, and even my wife. They easily connect to my smartphone. The Signia hearing aids are amazing, and with the charge and go, I don't have to fiddle with batteries and hear all day long. Not hearing is frustrating for you and your family. I know you don't have a problem, but trust me, call Bright Here now for a free hearing exam, a $125 value, yours free, just for making an appointment now. There are offices throughout the Los Angeles area. Call Bright Here now at 323-424-7100. That's 323-424-7100 for a free hearing exam. There's no obligation. Call now, 323-424-7100, or visit them on the web at brighthere.com. DarylWayne.com.
The latest from the greatest, the best in new music by classic rockers, with your host, the insane Daryl Wayne.
This is Alice Cooper, and if Daryl Wayne is insane, what does that make me criminally insane? Stick around to find out.
Many of the artist interviews for the latest from the greatest have been captured on audio book. There is a Volume 1 and Volume 2. Great information and conversations with people in the industry and people surrounded by the industry, and of course the rock stars themselves.
I'm the Reverend Al Green, and you're listening to the insane Daryl Wayne. And I said Wayne Insane.
You can find it on Amazon or Blackstone Audio. Search for the latest from the greatest from Daryl Wayne, DarrellWayne.
Hello, this is Weird Al Yankovic, and you're listening to the insane Daryl Wayne, aren't you?